ASO, the Asian Pacific American Student Organization. Thank you. Tonight, APASO, which is the Asian Pacific American Student Organization on campus, we advocate and empower Asian American students here on campus. We work for social justice and just raising awareness about Asian American issues here and embracing our culture and heritage, which is what we are doing tonight at Cultural Vogue. Can I hear it for Cultural Vogue and all of that? These students, our affiliates, have worked so hard to put on this performance for you guys tonight, so can we please give them another round of applause? Tonight, our theme is origins. We will be revisiting and re-embracing our heritage, and these students tonight are going to do a wonderful job, and I just want to introduce someone very important to the roots of our organization, APASO, because our roots are really important about our identity, and just knowing your roots and your heritage can be empowering for yourself. So I would like to introduce Iris Shen Van Buren. She is one of the co-founders of the first Cultural Vogue.
Good evening. My name is Iris Shen Van Buren, and I'm excited to be a part of the 15th Cultural Vogue and to share the origins of the shows with you. In 1990, when Cultural Vogue was first envisioned, I never thought it would become an APASO and MSU campus tradition, and that 27 years later, the show would still be around. Throughout the years, I've seen the show evolve. I'm excited to see what's going to happen tonight, and what will come to life with this year's Cultural Vogue. So once again, I'm left to wonder, what do the students of today know about Cultural Vogue, how it was conceived, and why is it still relevant today? And this time around, my questions to students is this: how many students involved in tonight's shows have parents who participated in the original Cultural Vogue performances in 1990 and 1991? Anybody? No, there's at least one. That was a trick question. So we have a few alumni here tonight who performed in the first couple of shows. However, to put things into perspective, I'd like to share a brief history about what the MSU campus was like at the time of the first show. In 1990, APASO was only 8 years old. For those of you who don't know, Maggie Chen Hernandez from the Multicultural Center was one of the initial founders of APASO. In 1990, the Asian Pacific American Minority AIDS, now known as Intercultural AIDS, had only been on campus for 2 years. And for the first few years, there were only 4 Asian Pacific American AIDS who serviced the full campus. Back then, minority AIDS worked solely with students who are of a similar ethnic background. In other words, we have an African American AIDS, Latino AIDS, Native American AIDS, and Asian American AIDS. It was very different from the way the Intercultural AIDS program functions today. Also in 1990, the Coalition of Indian Undergraduate Students was newly formed and joined with largely Korean, Vietnamese, and Filipino American students who were involved with APASO. There were no Asian American sororities or fraternities. We didn't have groups such as the Hmong American Student Association or the Bhangra Dance Team. 1990 was also the year that the Asian Pacific American Heritage Week was first expanded into Asian Pacific American Heritage Month and designated as the month of May. As students, we were excited about the presidential proclamation and created activities to celebrate our rich heritage. At that time, Michigan State's spring classes were in session through early June. So APASO had programs that actually occurred during Asian Pacific American Heritage Month in May. In 1990, I was a second-year minority aide and had heard about an African-American fashion show produced by a group called Aberdeen Productions. That sparked an idea. APASO had facilitated many discussions at that time about dispelling the model minority myth of being geeky, studious, and not American. Ken Hernandez had even played a part of a student being stereotyped in a campus training video addressing cultural sensitivity issues for faculty and staff. So I thought, what better way to change the perceptions of others on campus and in our community than to put on a fashion show of our own? However, I wanted to go beyond the regular fashion show. I wanted to create something that had a highlight of both cultural and traditional and modern fashions, music and dance, and would involve a wide range of students. The concept was to invite students to participate who would normally be on the fringe of the Paso to stretch their creativity and to further build our community. We would share with others how our lives intersected between our Asian and American cultures. With encouragement from Paso's advisors, I went to ASMSU armed with a handwritten sheet of notepaper outlining the proposed budget. We calculated the number of tickets we might sell at $2 a piece, how much the venue, posters, and program would cost. I had no idea if we would get the funding, and how much, and that was a very big chunk of money. And if we weren't approved, we would have to plan something else. After a nerve-wracking 30 minutes of discussion, the idea became a reality. The budget was approved by ASMSU. The next challenge was to produce the show. The song Vogue by Madonna was popular that year, and after some brainstorming, we chose the theme Cultural Vogue, Asian American Expressions of Style, to reflect the traditional and modern components of our show. We used Vogue as a theme song for both the first and second shows in 1990 and 1991. That first year, we only had 2 weeks to find a venue, prepare the acts, and publicize the event. I enlisted my friend, an African-American minority aide, Marshall Montgomery, to be one of our runway consultants. And also we had a fellow Asian-American minority aide, Min Quach, who actually volunteered to choreograph the contemporary dance routines. We also put a call out to students to prepare cultural dances and other talent acts. We had everything from a jazz trio to karaoke. Back in 1990, things were a lot more low-tech. There were no cell phones. We relied on landline, touch-tone phones mounted on the walls of our residence hall rooms. There are no landlines in the residence halls today. Few students had their own computers. Laptops were not available, nor did we have iTunes or apps to search for music. We browsed through stacks and stacks of vinyl records, yes, 12-inch vinyl records, and piles of cassette tapes instead. CDs were expensive, few students had them. Even the music for the show was manually mixed through 2 separate cassette tape decks during the performance. Campus wasn't yet wired for cable, we had no internet or Wi-Fi. And forget about Facebooking, group texting, or tweeting your friends to attend upcoming events. It was all by word of mouth, by posters and flyers. In today's world of smartphones, that sounds like an impossible task. But we managed to get the students together and spent 2 weeks of long evenings and grueling rehearsals to prepare for the show. Several of us visited local clothing and shoe stores, including a bridal salon, to borrow current fashions to model. The artwork for our posters and programs were hand-drawn since we didn't have Photoshop or scanners. Text was printed on dot matrix printers, hand-pasted and copied, and then we blanketed the campus with flyers. Despite the short time we had to prepare for that first show, which was held in the Passant Theater in the Wharton Center, I'm proud to say that we not only managed to get everything done, we also had many friends, families, and staff attend. The cultural Vogue tradition had begun. The following year, we hosted our second show with a much longer lead time. I had a co-coordinator, Hyun Kim. 1990 was also included a mini preview at the MSU Union during the lunch hour. And in 1991, I graduated from MSU. After that, Cultural Vogue became a biannual tradition for El Paso. Over the years, I've seen the show evolve as new students have come and gone, with each group getting more inventive as the years go by and they have access to more technology. What's most significant is that over the last 27 years, the presence of Asians and Asian Americans have also grown more prominently throughout our campus and within the greater American society. These days, students take for granted an established Asian American Studies program on MSU campus. We have more faculty and staff in and around campus as well. There are many more Chinese, Korean, Indian, Japanese restaurants near campus. We can also find authentic Asian rice, rooster soft sriracha, and sushi in our residence halls. It's a far cry from the buttered Uncle Ben's rice that we had in 1990. Although, when the Brody Calf started doing the sushi, I do have to say they had a learning curve in terms of the preparation of the sushi rice. A lot has changed since the last time I participated in the Cultural Vogue program 8 years ago. The last time I spoke, the world was celebrating the Oscar wins of Slumdog Millionaire as Best Picture and Jai Ho as Best Song, and the election of former President Barack Obama, who has an Asian American sister. Half-sister Asians and Asian Americans have finally broken some major cultural bounds. Okay. Lost some of my papers, but that's okay. Anyway, since then also, we are now seeing more things on TV, more programs, such as Fresh Off the Boat, Dr. Ken, The Mindy Show, some other things like that. In the interim, in the last 27 years, we've also seen more engagement, civic engagement from some of our alumni. So one of the things that Cultural Vogue did prepare was one of our alumni. His name is Sam Singh. For those of you who think that name sounds kind of familiar, he was actually one of our first MCs for the Cultural Vogue show that very first year. He ended up graduating from MSU, becoming the mayor of the city of East Lansing, and currently he is one of the state representatives in District 69 at the state capitol. So if you haven't had a chance, I strongly recommend that you go up there, kind of meet with Sam, and kind of get an idea, get involved, and get active. Over the years, Cultural Vogue has really given us a real personal thought about our campus. Has really become a real campus tradition. I tried to look for some photos of our programs from previous years. Unfortunately, because we didn't have cell phones or digital cameras back then, we have very few photos. Most of them are pasted in the scrapbooks of our alumni. We actually also tried to look for some video, and unfortunately still haven't found that video after all these years. Hopefully I'll find it someday and be able to put it onto YouTube. In the meantime, I do have some MSU alum that were in that very first show. I really want to congratulate tonight's group. Really excited to see what you guys have to offer for tonight's Cultural Vogue. And because I don't have that digital, we're going to go old school and give you a little bit of the origins of Cultural Vogue. Two of our alumni are here with us tonight. Raylyn Claire Orleans, who currently has a son at MSU, and Melody Teodoro, who actually is, if anyone's in the Detroit area, you'll see her on the Beaumont ad in the Detroit area. We're going really old school. This is actually the tape you played that year.
Ladies with an attitude, fellas that were in the mood.